Was it you that was watching a video that was, some people can do certain tasks, and with Neuralink, maybe everyone can have these attributes to them. There are some people with photographic memory. Now, what if everyone has access to photographic memory and everyone becomes superhumans? What do you think of the future race if everyone's just perfect?
I mean,
it's gonna be sick. Honestly.
They'd be better than the current race.
Damn.
I mean, at the end of the day, survival of the fittest means the survival of the most adaptable. And so if you have if you go from bio flesh that can get diseased, it can get hurt, it ages, it decays, right? And you have a robot that's, 100 times as strong, can upgrade itself. You can, no one gets old because you literally can just upgrade yourself as you're going. I know we're bordering into, science fiction here, but point is, in our lifetimes, some of this stuff is possible, and if AI can start innovating on its own, then there was a futurist who said AI will be the last invention humanity ever needs to make, because then it will make all innovations after that faster, better, stronger than we can. And if the future race is a merge between humans and AI and cyborg, then that would be interesting. The question is why they would need us.
Business expert Alex Hormozi discusses the future of AI, its impact on our lives, and the importance of preparation. Join us for his insights on ethics, consequences, and vision of the future.
With optimizing your time and optimizing efficiency, I want to dive a little bit into AI because that's going to change the world. And I watched your video, and why are you so bullish on AI?
I mean, I don't think we're going to stop AI.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, so interesting. I think, so there's it's I don't even know if government intervention could stop AI. It's just the wheels of progress don't stop turning. They never have in the history of humanity, to my knowledge. They don't really stop turning unless it's super niche and there's tons of money that can squash a tiny invention, like a light bulb that lasts forever. And then Philips and all the other companies buy the company and then don't produce the product because it cuts into their margins or whatever. But it's already too big, in my opinion. And the wealth that can be generated from AI is too large for any person to stop. And very transparently, I'm very afraid of it. Because every other innovation to this point has been around a specific improvement in human productivity. So the Industrial Revolution, the Agricultural Revolution, these are all improvements in how we did things, and we became more productive, and the people just moved up a level in productivity. This is an invention that can undermine the human institution. Because if a robot can human better than humans can, then what is left for humans to do?
I'm scared of AI too, because I've seen iRobot and I know what happens in that fucking movie.
Yeah, exactly. It's just you and a dog. And so it's not a bad life, but yeah, so I think that there may, in a very weird way, you might actually see people moving out of really developed countries into undeveloped countries because they don't have AI, and they might be back to normal. That's a weird, potential prediction I'll throw out there.
Some Black Mirror shit.
Yeah, you might see people move into Africa because AI hasn't taken over yet.
I think there's a lot of people's opinions on that. One of the large ones I would say is the South Park, they took our jobs, they're taking the jobs of the people. And what's interesting is people really want to fight it because, we want to I understand, we want to give jobs to people, but then when they go to the grocery store, they hate standing in the line for the one checkout person, but they love the self-checkout because it's so fast. They're starting to be well, that's okay because it's really fast for me to get in and out of my groceries. But it when it affects them in a certain way, they allow it or don't mind it.
Yeah.
But they hate how, at McDonald's, instead of needing a person to take your order, you can just tap on the machine.
Mm-hmm. So this is a clear example of the tragedy of the commons. So global warming, that whole thing is tragedy of the commons. So everybody has to agree that we're all going to long-term do this thing. And if we don't, and any player can individually benefit themselves, that players will benefit themselves.
Right.
And so the example you gave with McDonald's, it's no one, most people don't want global warming. Most people don't want AI to take their job, but they're okay with it taking someone else's job. And the thing is that we're going to vote with our dollars in the way that's most convenient for us. And so we will vote locally for the thing that's convenient for us, but in so doing, invest globally in the thing that will put us out of business. And so for that reason, I don't think it will be stopped because you said, I think people are going to vote with their dollars that they're fine with an AI checkout person and they're going to have an entirely automated Starbucks. I think that they will vote that way because they'll get cheaper coffee, they'll get it faster, and they won't mess up the order.
I think it just shifts, instead of the people working you know, the machines replaced, now they will need people to build the machines or make the machines until they have machines that make the machines. But then they'll need machines to build those machines that build the machines. How do you think it's like, when do you think it'll stop in terms of the cutting? Like, I guess, like, what is the future for the jobs, for basic entry-level jobs, when machines and AI can do all of the things for you? The chat GPT. Yeah, it's like things like that of write a website, write a code, create a, you know, thing of, you know, where is the shift of where jobs you think are secure? Because people need to get there. We'll go there. I've stumped him, everyone.
I don't know, because again, as soon as AI can human better than a human can, it's tough. Like right now, the knowledge-based skills are going to go first, which is reverse of what people thought. They expected it to be blue collar. Like if you had asked people 2 years ago, what's AI going to fix first? They're going to be like, well, all the low skill jobs, all the labor, that's going to get replaced first. And then it'll be the slightly lower skilled white collar jobs. And then the higher skilled white collar jobs like programmers and things like that. And then finally, maybe the creatives. But it's been the exact opposite of that. It started with the most creative things like making images and paintings and pictures and essays and words. Like most of human communication in a creative venue, like it can do that first. And robotics is already there in terms of being able to do better than what a human can. It just hasn't become cost efficient. But we know on any time horizon that technology becomes more efficient over time. And when that AI brain meets this robot body, it can now do what humans can do in the real world. And so like, where do humans go? That's fundamentally the issue. They have a 4.5-year UBI study that's being undertaken by OpenAI because they, I'm pretty sure, know what's going to happen, which is that many, and like, even if there are, like, to your point, like, even if there are jobs that like some humans can do, most humans can't. And so like ChatGPT writes better than like 60% of Americans.
In 15 seconds as well.
Right. And that's today. The question is what ChatGPT 100 can do. Maybe it writes better than all humans, because there's something called the drift, which is right now AI is learning from humans, right? It's learning from the stuff we do and it's mimicking that. But in a future iteration, it will learn from itself. It'll be AI learning from AI. And then at that point, it starts to drift away from what we know to what is purely AI generated. And I mean, I've been very transparent. Like I'm very worried about what will happen for the vast majority of people. You know, I'm a competitive person. We absolutely have embraced AI within our company, and it's because we don't have a choice, as far as I see it. You know, Elon has far more clout than I do, and he lobbied with the government for years to get AI regulated, and they refused to hear him out at all. And the thing is, even if the US regulated it, China won't. And we need to stay competitive, because if they use that against us, you know, blah, 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 blah. So it's tough. It's tough. It's super tough. And, you know, like, what about education and things in schools? Like, you know, they're like, no school technology can use ChatGPT. It's like, yeah, the kids don't have phones.
That's like saying, everyone, don't use your TI-83s to cheat on this essay. And you're like, that's fine. I'm going to my notes right now. And I got all the formulas written out.
Yeah. So it has really profound implications. And I think humans are really bad at predicting things. That's what I can say. Like the fact that AI 2 years ago, people would have said blue collar jobs, and it's literally the last thing that's being replaced, just shows you how bad we are at predicting.
Yeah.
So my predictions are weary at best. I hope it ushers in a golden era for humanity. I hope, more than anything, we do nuclear fusion, and we cure all diseases, and we can reverse aging. Like, I hope we can figure all that stuff out. But if you can get your logo designed in 5 seconds and get 10 different versions, who gets fired?
Yeah, and get the designer. alternate versions, alternate colors in a millisecond.
Yeah. In the short term, and I said this in the video, the short term, the people who are going to do quality assurance on the stuff that ChatGPT spits out will be the opportunity. They'll actually have an outsized opportunity. So like, if you know how to write code, then what happens is now you can write 10 times the code. So the execution has been delegated, but you still have to think, is you validate that the code is correct or is good or does the job that it needs to. If like, it can write code. If I were to ask it to write code, I don't know how to read code. So it doesn't matter that it can write code for me, because I don't know how to judge it. So I still need a human to do that. And that human can now check 10 times as much code or 100 times as much code, which means the value of an expert increases in the short term. Long term, once the AI can check itself and can do it better than a human can, it can check millions of lines of code.
Outside of business related things, just to go a little nerdy or deep on that,
Okay.
Neuralink.
Yeah.
What do you think the future of we have essentially like Petri dish babies now. I can choose the eye color, the hair color, what gender they're going to be.
Yeah.
And with the Neuralink, we might be able to. Was it you that was watching a video that was, some people can do certain tasks, and with Neuralink, maybe everyone can have these attributes to them. There are some people with photographic memory. Now, what if everyone has access to photographic memory and everyone becomes superhumans? What do you think of the future race if everyone's just perfect?
I mean, they'd be
sick, honestly.
They'd be better than the current race.
Damn.
I mean, at the end of the day, survival of the fittest means the survival of the most adaptable. And so if you have if you go from bio flesh that can get diseased, it can get hurt, it ages, it decays, right? And you have a robot that's, 100 times as strong, can upgrade itself. You can, no one gets old because you literally can just upgrade yourself as you're going. I know we're bordering into, science fiction here, but point is, in our lifetimes, some of this stuff is possible, and if AI can start innovating on its own, then there was a futurist who said AI will be the last invention humanity ever needs to make, because then it will make all innovations after that faster, better, stronger than we can. And if the future race is a merge between humans and AI and cyborg, then that would be interesting. The question is why they would need us.
Robots are going to take over. It's an interesting take, but I will say though, I disagree that robots how strong they can be, because I can deadlift 650 pounds and there's no way a robot's gonna be stronger than me. Period. With the whole AI thing, look, I do a lot of dumb jokes here. What do you think about that?
Just see cranes, man.
With AI, the whole idea is that you're offloading tasks you don't need to do. Back to kind of business. What is your? A lot of people, you always hear about outsource, delegate. When do you think people need to get to the point where they are doing it? Like what are things that people shouldn't let go of, and things that people should let go of immediately that generally they hold on too long?
So again, I won't say should and shouldn't, but I would say if you're optimizing towards making the most money, then you have to trade up in higher leverage activities. So so leverage is just defined as the difference between inputs and outputs in a system. So if I do this, then I get this output. And so the leverage is the discrepancy between that. So if I have a 1-to-1 ratio, I have low leverage. If I have a 1-to-10 ratio, I have higher leverage, right? And so when we are leveling up as entrepreneurs, we need to trade out the things that we get 1-to-2 on and trade in things that we get 1-to-20 on. And you just keep trading the whole way up, and you just keep going. And that's the kind of unending, infinite game of business.
Thanks for tuning in to the discussion on the future of AI with Alex Hormozi. To stay up to date on the latest developments in AI, human evolution, and other exciting topics, subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you in the next video.